So welcome to another episode of CISO Talks. Today we are joined by Varun, who is the Information Security and Compliance Lead over at Serco. So welcome to the show, Varun.
Thanks, Jenny, for having me here.
It's great to have you here. So did you want to just start with a little introduction about yourself and what it is you actually do over at Serco? That would be great.
Absolutely. So Serco is an FTSE 250 company headquartered in the UK. And we have four regions. We have UK and Europe. We have ASPAC region. We have North America. And I am the regional security representative for the entire Middle East region. So I look at the entire cybersecurity portfolio for our clients and customers in Middle East.
Great. Well, it's great. Once again, it's great to have you here. And I understand today you want to start with talking a little bit about red teaming. So, let's get straight into it. So, as we know, it's quite a hot topic today in cybersecurity. So could you explain to us in your own words exactly what is red teaming and why organizations should be pursuing it?
Sure. So red teaming is a very hot topic, as you mentioned. It's a talk of the town. And I will explain in quite simple words what it is. But basically, initially, what is happening, red teaming is not for organizations which are looking for some sugar-coated type. If they really want to see the transparent side of security, they want to see unfiltered security threat landscape of the organization, then they actually should go for red teaming. So where this red teaming concept originally came from. So cyber experts, what they realize over the period of time, most of the organizations which are actually getting compromised and they hit the headlines were actually complying to some security standards. So what exactly went wrong? And that's where they realized that why not we just emulate the same attack techniques which are being used by the bad guys? And that's where rubber hits the road. So now you're getting a genuine, realistic cybersecurity assessment. There is no BS, pure security assessment. And that's where red teaming plays a very pivotal role. So to explain, I would prefer to use an analogy because that explains things in a better way. So let's say you are a building management and you would like to evaluate the security of your building to ensure that no intruder can break into your building. Yeah. So you hire some entity. So the first entity which try to evaluate the security of your building, they send a personnel. Yeah, that personnel is masquerading themselves as, let's say, delivery boy who is going to deliver a pizza in your building. Now they are able to break through because the security guard of your building, he didn't do the proper security check. There was no background verification check done, and he was able to break into your building. Yeah. So now when we will be submitting a report to you, we will say, oh, the gap is you are not having a proper background verification check. People are able to break in. Now, let's say what we try to do, we hire another entity. And now this entity, they're not going to tell you when are they going to trying to break in, how are they going to do it. Now, they may or may not try to masquerade as a delivery boy. They got into the building. They got hold of your surveillance area. They can control all the CCTV cameras. They can shut it down. They can control your elevator. They can turn off the electricity of the entire building. And guess what? By the time they are leaving, they can put backdoors. So next time when they want to access the building, they can use those backdoors. So red teaming is similar to the latter scenario. There are literally no rules of the game. We are going to provide you complete length and breadth of your security posture. It goes way deeper, and if organizations are looking for an eye opener, they should go for red teaming. That's the essence of it.
Okay, yeah, or combine it with a number of different approaches to widen the security portfolio. Quite often we see organizations performing vulnerability or risk assessments and penetration testing. How is this different to red teaming? Can you differentiate, or can you give us kind of examples of how we can include these three parts together, and what are the primary differences between those?
Absolutely. So there are some core differences between these three words which we use common. One is vulnerability assessment, then you have penetration testing and red teaming. So vulnerability assessment literally find all the vulnerabilities within your IT environment, your applications, your systems, and whatnot. Penetration testing is actually gonna evaluate the impact what a data breach can have in your organization. And red teaming is actually going to go one level deeper, which we just discussed in great detail. So when we talk about vulnerability assessment, the expert who will be executing this solution, he is having prominently expertise on that solution itself. But when we talk about pen test, in pen test, the pen tester may not necessarily rely on tools. He will have very diverse skill set, a technical skill set. He can do plethora of things when it comes to executing cyber attacks, and that's where you have a significant difference between vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Now let's talk about penetration testing and red teaming. In penetration testing, if I want to do pen test for your organization, I may say, okay, please tell me which application I should do this assessment. You will tell me the application, and I will largely focus on the assessment of that application. Whereas when it comes to a red teaming, again, as I said, there are no rules of the game. If I find your computer vulnerable, I will try to dig into that. If I find your application or database vulnerable, I will focus on that. And that's where the scenarios keep on changing. So these are the primary differences. Vulnerability assessment is quite noisy in the environment. People will come to know about it. Penetration testing as well as the red teaming, they're very stealthy in nature. You will just not realize it's happening. And last but not the least, there is another concept which is quite pervasive nowadays. Banks use it. It's called as breach attack simulation. So this is like the fourth category which is recently being added. And here we are using the bad guys techniques, but we have a solution which is going to automate it. So these are the four broad categories within this landscape.